This is a pre-market analysis of 4th of May, and today market is driven by three major triggers, out of which the most important one is a state election results, and that's going to be the sentiment driver for the day. And then, of course, we need to discuss related to US-Iran negotiation. That's there for quite some time. So we are not leaving that also, and that's still unresolved. So we'll have to discuss. And oil is cooling off, but still, if you see oil is above 100, that's again a very important factor. So we will discuss one by one, starting with the elections. So if you see the background, okay, so elections were held between in the month of April 9 to 29, and in the states of West Bengal, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Puducherry, and today is the counting day. And I don't think Kerala result is going to be important. Puducherry's result is going to be important. To an extent, Tamil Nadu also, where BJP is more involved, right? That's where it is going to be very important. So the market relevance, if you see, one thing that I want to tell you, state elections, there is no long-term market impact. If you remember when we have seen the parliament election 2024, what happened immediately after the election? In the beginning, when Modi's, uh, his majority was coming down at that point of time, market came down almost 8 to 9%, and then there was a recovery, and that recovery never stopped. It just went like anything, right? At one point I think market came down to 23, 500 levels also, and then it just started rallying, and then what we have seen is 26,300 all-time high in a matter of just 2 3 months. June was the election, and then June 4th was the result, right? And then July, August, September. In the matter of 3 months, we have seen all-time high in Nifty. But that kind of impact won't be there for the state election. If it was before the parliament election, there will be a even bigger sentiment can be triggered. Just like if you remember, 2023 December, there were four state elections, including Haryana, Chhattisgarh, and all. And where when BJP got that big victory, despite the exit polls were saying otherwise, and then we have seen market was rallying, and the real rally actually started from there, December 2023, after this four state election, which gave that big sentiment towards BJP for the parliament election. And then in the parliament election after that, it just gave all-time high. But today it won't be like that. It definitely, of course, will be a sentiment driver, but there is not much long-term impact, right? So most important will be West Bengal. Not much on Tamil Nadu, definitely nothing on Kerala, Puducherry also, but BJP, TMC, right? This is going to be the tight fight. So what are the possible scenarios? If BJP win, then the sentiment will improve significantly, so market reaction will be very positive, and I think market is already sensing some kind of victory for BJP over there, right? So the infrastructure sector, if you look at PSU stocks, will be definitely in focus. And the reason is, of course, if BJP is winning, means what? There will be a better center state coordination in implementing the infrastructure projects. So those stocks will be very much in focus, and there won't be any tussle or dispute between the center or state, and the center and state will be in more cooperation and more coordination in implementing these projects, right? So if TMC retains power, then market reaction won't be negative, it will be mild to neutral. For negativity, we have other reasons, right? That is related to oil, that is related to, Iran US negotiation, but that's there for quite some time. That's also settled. So market have nothing much to do negative today. If see what I would see is, if BJP win in West Bengal, there will be a positive move in the market. So we will be getting a gap up for sure, because market is sensing some kind of victory for BJP, and then whether that will be sustained or not is what actually the question. So if BJP is not winning, if TMC retain power, market will be consolidating, or some kind of profit booking will be there, because from 22 800 level, 22 200 level, we have seen market have rallied almost close to 2500 points. Now other states, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, see, in those cases, the most important areas will be related to welfare and rural spending. So there, based on the result, we'll look at FMCG sector consumption, but that's not, that very important. We'll be looking for, the focus will be on West Bengal, and to some extent Tamil Nadu also, to some extent. Okay. Now coming to Iran-US conflict. Iran have proposed a 14-point agenda, a 14-point proposal has been given. A mediator is Pakistan. We discussed that in the last session, and US responded. And US responded to review that, and Iran is reviewing the response. So the key condition by Iran is end war within 30 days. In that, nuclear issues not included. So Iran's major demands are like lifting all the sanctions which is imposed on Iran, remove the naval blockade. So first solve this oil crisis. You first remove the naval blockade, and then we open the Strait of Hormuz. So the oil crisis will be solved, and then later will be the discussions and negotiation on the nuclear deal, and complete withdrawal of US forces and stop any kind of military activity, not only on Iran but also on Lebanon as well. So that is how the complete war will be ending. Coming to Strait of Hormuz, Iran will not back down immediately. They claim that it is completely belong to Iran. And there are some other things that we need to discuss, as like ships which are not linked to US or Israel is not anyway attacking, right? And they may pass the Strait of Hormuz after paying the toll fee. Now, US responses again asked to review the proposal, but definitely US is not satisfied with this proposal, and I don't think that it will be agreed by Mr. Trump, and it will again be in a deadlock. So earlier, if you see their stand is it include this proposal should include nuclear program halt also, and there should be some kind of full control over Strait of Hormuz. So now, if you see the scenario, it is a kind of deadlock itself, right? You are asking to review means what? You don't like it. You don't want this proposal. That's why you're asking to review. Otherwise, somehow you will get into some kind of settlement. So both are again came into the opposite situation, and the outcome, I would say, it is still uncertain. This negotiation is going on, but for quite some time, there is no attack on each of these countries. So that's the only thing that we can see now. Again, coming to oil price last week at one point, I think on Thursday, we have seen that Brent crude came at around 4-year high, which is 126 level. Uh, you know, After that, it actually cooled down when Iran gave the proposal. Then the market is sensing that it may come down or the situation will cool off. So the price of came down. Now, even then, currently, if you see crude is at WTI is at 101, Brent is at 107. See, something which is above 100 in 90 itself, we have seen a couple of months back, it's at 60s and 70s. Now it's trading, 50% higher. So anything above 100, it's very bad psychologically also, and it's very bad for the market. So still it is above 100, WTI is 101, and Brent is trading slightly more. It's a more premium, that is 107. And we have seen 1% drop, but still it's still above that level. So anything above 100, always remember it is negative for India, because it is going to affect our current account deficit trade. We completely rely upon the imports on crude oil. We don't have any other domestic option, unlike US or Russia, right? So what we want is oil should fall below 100. So that is when our market will also sustain. Now if you look at US market, uh, April month, if you see, S&P is almost 10% up, right? And then we have seen all-time highs also, but our market is not seeing that. Nasdaq is 15% up, and Dow Jones is 7% up. So that you can say that's the best month since 2020, that COVID recovery. Then this fall, and then this bounce in a matter of a month, 10%, 15%, Dow 7%. That's a big bounce. Now, last day, Friday, our market was holiday, May 1st, and then US market, it's -3. I would say it's flat. S&P 500 again at all-time high, +3, plus 0.3, minus 0.3, plus 0.3, Nasdaq 0.9 plus, and crossed that 25,000 critical level as well. So oil is cooling, which is good, but still above 100, which is bad. Strong earnings, that's actually led the result last day. And yeah, market is mixed, I would say. Positive biases there, but mixed. And today, what we are going to get is we will be getting a gap up, and whether that will sustain is the question. It definitely, the chances are high that it will sustain and we get an up move. So Friday, GIFT Nifty was around 24,350, Saturday 24,229. Now, when I look at it, it is indicating a kind of 100-point gap up. right? So 100-point gap up, and it have to sustain, or at least it have to consolidate. So these are the things that I want to discuss for the pre-market. Again, institutional data, FII sold 8,000 crore high last day. DIIs bought 3,500 crore last day. So FII is aggressively selling, and that is continuously selling. Open interest, if you see, calls 19% added, puts added 13%, so more call addition, which will act as a resistance. And PCR definitely dropped to 0.97, which is like neutral, but still compared to the put addition, call addition is higher, which is slightly a bearish bias. But today we are getting a gap up, so some of them will be covered, and then we may get a short covering on the put side if there is a positive result also, election. Technically, if you see last day 180-point gap down and made a low of 23,800. Then from there was a good recovery and closed at around 24,200-point recovery we have seen. A kind of dodgy candle. Upper side also selling. Lower side, it's buying. It's a clear indecision scenario. Coming to the support resistance level, 24,350 is very important today, right? And above that, if that level is crossed, what we will be seeing is 24,600. In fact, we have seen once, even during this recovery phase also. So 24,300 to 500 was the major resistance, and the entire world know that was a resistance. And once they crossed, they just moved till 600, 700, 600 level, and then again started coming down. So support is at 23,800, but I don't think that it will go to that level today. So we need a breakout from 24,300 to see a directional move on the upside. If they break 23,800, it can still come down more even. Okay, but chances are very less at this point of time. Bank Nifty, important level, if you see 54,400, 54,300, that range is the support. 55,400 to 500, that level is the important resistance. And the maximum call open interest now at 24,500, followed by 24,300, 24,000. So 24,000 is where market closed. So that's the straddle people. Put also there. So maximum put OI again, if you see 24,000 and then 23,800, that's a major support level. And then 23,500. So the larger range as of now that you see is 23,500 to 24,500. But I take it like 23,800 as the major support. Right, so you can sell puts for slightly higher premium. There is no need to go to 23,500 level. 24,000, 23,300, 23,800 you can sell, and then 24,500 level. Till then it can go if market sustain the gap up that you're going to get today. So election is the most important trigger. That's a short-term sentiment trigger, but today definitely that trigger will be there. Geopolitical issue that is still unresolved. We are fighting. We are discussing this for quite some time. Oil is cooling, but still it's above 100. That's something which you need to keep in mind. US market is looking strong and take on hitting that all-time highs again and again. FIA selling is aggressive and relentless in the Indian market. So market is range bound as of now with event driven volatility. It could be geopolitical event, it could be election. So whatever, trade responsible and have that proper system, proper setup, and align to the setup. You trade, don't take any random trade and hold, especially if you're an option buyer. If you're a seller, it's perfect. You can do based on different strategies that you have learned or that you're doing, that you have experienced. And if you would like to learn in the live market, we have a live market mentoring session where we teach with our trades so that you won't make much mistakes and you will learn from in the live market itself. So see you there. Thank you.